This is Bent Discipline, and welcome back to another lesson, lesson 3. This lesson is going to delve into understanding your sub or any petition that's petitioning you. You already have picked the one that has the right overlap in terms of your compatibility. Now it's about learning more details about their interests. And this checklist I find it fundamental to better understanding their needs and their limits. Now, this one is one that I've created over time. I took other checklists that I'd found or been given, and I compiled them into a massive one. Not all of the things on here are things that I personally am interested in. It's more to see where the sub is interests lie. And there's 3 parts to it. Each checklist has an activity, and then a yes, no, have they done it or not, and an attraction. Now, what I find very interesting about checklists and the checklists that I get from a potential submissive is that there's this interesting thing that happens occasionally where someone might be very interested in something, like they like to watch it in porn, they like to fantasize about it, but it's not something that they're actually willing to do. Or the opposite, where there's not a high level of excitement or interest or attraction towards something, but under the right conditions, whether they're forced or just in general, they're willing to do that. So this is the checklist. The checklist, this one here has 250 approximate different activities, and they range from sexual to bondage. There's a whole huge range of stuff. I just basically put everything I could possibly find or think of into this checklist and edited it a few times. So this is something that I'd give a potential submissive to fill out, and once they've become my submissive, if they've become my submissive, it's something that I have them update on a regular basis. And the reason for that is 2 things. One, if it's a fetish need, and more importantly, if it's a never. Never is a hard limit that you should never, ever, ever do. And there could be a situation where they might have said, oh yeah, I'd like to try something, and then they've tried it and they realize, no, I don't ever want to do that again. Or the opposite, where they try one thing and they're like, hey, you know what, maybe this other thing would be interesting. I'll add that to my checklist, and it's a way for a submissive to give feedback to their dominant about their interest and desires as well as their hard limits. So after each scene, they should be able to update their checklist and email it to you, and that would be the one that you'd use going forward. Now, I'm also going to get into contracts, just touch on contracts. I'm not going to get into the details of every contract, but I like to link the contract and the checklist together so that the contract has an element of it that's a living document. And that's what this would be. It would be a document that can be updated on a regular basis so that as the submissive experiences different types of scenes, she can change her interest and as well as her limits. So that's what I have for you on this lesson, to take your time and really get to know the submissive. After a submissive has filled out something like this, I would sit with them and go over anything that I may have noticed. It's important that when you do give a checklist to a submissive, especially if she's not your submissive yet, that you let her know that this is not a test and that there's no right or wrong answers, that it is an exploration of her sexuality, and it's as challenging for her to be as honest as she can for herself and for you. So give her that, let her know that she's not going to lose the potential to be your submissive if she chooses the wrong activities, or if she chooses the right activities, she will be. So that's very important. And to not push herself to do things that she doesn't feel comfortable to do things, to put in the checklist the right things that are right for her. Now, once you get this checklist, and let's say you start a relationship with a submissive, or you have a submissive already and you're getting an updated checklist, it's important for you because now you have like an ingredients list. If you were a master chef, this is the ingredients for which you can make a wonderful meal. In your case, because you're a dominant and you're maybe a master of some type, this is your opportunity to make a wonderful scenes for your submissive. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you back on the next lesson. Be safe.